All right, TM Warrior fans, Cherokee fans, and surrounding areas. It's Monday afternoon, and that means we're going to be talking Tuloso Midway Warriors football on the TM Warriors Players Podcast. So every Monday throughout the football season, Coach Variel selects a player, sometimes two players, sometimes it's a coach and a player to come on the podcast so we can talk Tuloso Midway Warriors football. And today we have an offensive player, a senior, and a coach. So I'll introduce the coach here. It's our offensive line coach, Coach Mateo Gonzales. Coach, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Just excited to be here and be here chatting with you guys and just representing Tuloso Midway football.
Absolutely, coach. And thank you for coming on. I know you guys have such a busy day, and I really appreciate here you coaches to spend a little bit of time to come out of your busy schedule to talk a little bit about your program and your players. And then right next to coach, we have our senior. I know he's an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman. He plays all over the field. Alexavier Hinojosa. Alexavier, how are you doing?
Doing good. I can't wait to represent the offensive line and defensive line.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And now that we're on the air, don't forget so your dad can see, tell your pops I said hello. I know Steve, so I wanted to put that out there. A great guy. And he's got a great son. I've seen some of the highlights. Very proud. I know he's very proud of you and all of the accomplishments, everything you're doing out there at TM. So, first of all, I like to get the guys to introduce Coach and Alex Xavier. We'll start with you, Alex Xavier. Kind of, I told him the name, your position that you play, your jersey number.
Number 74, offensive right tackle.
There you go. I know you also play on the defensive line as well. So let's talk a little bit about you. So how long have you been there at Tuloso Midway?
Since kindergarten.
Wow. So you're a warrior, true and true. So that's great. And so I got to ask you, what got you into football? We're talking football here. At what age did you start playing football, and how did you get involved in the sport?
Well, I didn't really. My dad put me in football. I was on the Aggies, but I didn't really like the grind like when I was little because I just wanted to be a kid, like just go outside and just do whatever. But when I got to middle school, I actually did start kind of liking the grind and how much work you have to put in to like be to a level of success you have to be at. And ever since then, I've been here playing football.
Well, you definitely have the size. You were gifted with the size, that's for sure. So I'm sure the coaches appreciate you starting to like football because they definitely you're an impact. You have an impact, right? Obviously, when you play, so that's good. I always want to ask to see how players get involved in football. So definitely, I know your dad loves football as well. We've talked about that as well. Do you play any other sports there for TM outside of football?
Uh, Soccer
Really? Wow, that's
as a
great.
goalie. As freshman, I was a starting varsity goalie.
Awesome. Awesome. Wow, that's great. I would have thought you were like in powerlifting or track with soccer. Wow, that's great. That's great. Well, definitely, hopefully I can get out there. We'll definitely cover some soccer as well. So definitely looking to go out there and see how you guys fare in soccer. So we'll be seeing Alex Xavier again here in the near future when soccer season approaches. So Alex Xavier, just a couple of questions here for you. Obviously, I've been very impressed. The first time I saw the football team, I saw the one thing that surprised me was the size. You guys were just big. I mean, the whole line was big, right? Like I was like, wow, everyone here is big. And then talking to the coaches, it wasn't just the size, because if anybody looks at that Tuloso Midway line, right, the size and strength is the first thing that comes to mind. But what I started finding out too from Coach Talbot when we talked was the speed. A lot of people don't really pay attention to speed, but he said just the drills and that you guys work on the speed. So when you got power size and speed, that's a great combination. And from right to the left side, you guys are really big, strong, and fast. When you started this season and you looked at the line, right? And there's a lot of young guys. I mean, you're a senior, but I know there's some guys from this line that's playing guard and tackle that will be back next year. What was the expectations for your group? Not the whole team, but your group. What was the expectation going into the season?
Well, so last year I didn't really play on the offensive line, but the last year offensive line we're all seniors except Dave, which is our center. And when we got to the when I senior year, I was kind of worried, but then we just practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced, and we are here now.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize. I didn't realize how young that offensive line is, right? That's young. You got some sophomores in there still. The chemistry is still building. I think when I look at what's coming back next year, I think you have to get excited, right? Your star running back will be back. Obviously, the quarterback will graduate, and I know you're going to graduate, but that offensive line, a lot of key parts are coming back next year, which I think has to excite the coach there next to you, obviously, and what you're building this year and what's going to continue to build for next year. So really excited about that. I always like to get that out on the podcast. And so let's talk a little bit about the season. So you guys started off great, took a couple of tough losses in non-district to the Carroll Tigers, which is a team that has gotten better the last couple of weeks. And then Alice, I thought was a game that we shouldn't have lost. Obviously, on the scoreboard, lost by a point, but definitely took a 1 point loss there. And then this last week against Cal Allen, against Cal Allen, Xavier, I want to get your thoughts. 21 points. It's one quarter that really doomed us in. I thought the rest of the looking at the stats, we fared very well against that offense. Our defense just giving up 7 points in the first and fourth quarter. Just wanted to get your thoughts on what you saw. I thought it was going to be a physical game. Cal Allen's always physical. I thought with the size and the way we've been playing, we knew it was going to be physical. But I do want to get your thoughts on the game. 21 points Cal Allen was able to get in second quarter. After that, they really couldn't do much. What did you see from them in playing against them that kind of gave us a little bit of trouble because they were able to stop our offense? We only got, I think, a little over 100 yards, which is, I think, our lowest to this point.
So what I first saw was they really keyed on Damien, the running back. They really keyed on him, but of course we already were practicing that they're gonna key him, so we had to like move our plays from like to our wide receivers and to our other running back. But from what I saw from them was I mean, 41 years, yeah, whatever. It's just a score. Like we're gonna go get them one day. And like in Toloso, it's just like our mentality is since we're going up, oh Callan, they're gonna beat us, oh like, and this year, last year too, we had a good chance, but it was just the second quarter is what gets us. And I think next year we're gonna be fine and good about Callan because we do have some athletes here. I mean, Damien Figueroa, Ethan Barrientos, Noah, Gabe, everyone.
You're right. It is mental. I think that is something that coaches will continue to work on players. You got to get that mental part right. But again, and I talked to Coach B, and to him, it's like the rivalry is something they talk. For me, it's just another game. It's another opponent that the coaches obviously they understand the communities, but for coaches, it's just another game that we got to go out there and win and play. So unfortunately, we did take the loss, but you're right. There's so much talent there. Talking to coaches, talking to the players on Monday, and then Coach Uriel on Wednesday. You're right. There is a lot of talent, and we continue to get better every year. And I think that's what excites me about doing the podcast here with Toloso Midway is I can see the future. We talk about the other levels as well with Coach. Talk about what middle school is doing. So yes, every year you're right. There's talent. There'll continue to be talent. And this program, I think, is going to continue to get better every year. You do have 2 games left, Alex Xavier. You're going back to the Valley. Valley View. You guys just went about 2 weeks ago down there. So it is a drive. It's about a 3 hour drive or 2 hour drive plus. But coach kind of has a little routine down. You guys get to stop and get a good little meal, and you get to travel on those charter buses, which I think is better than driving those school buses. I would not want to get on that school bus to drive all the way over there. So I want to ask you, do you know if y'all going to have the charter buses going back on Friday when you go back to the Valley?
I do not know. But we are. We are.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. Coach knows. Yeah, maybe I haven't told you yet, but coaches already know what's going. Coaches don't want to drive on that yellow bus. Yeah, it's and then all the way back. My goodness. So it is comfortable. That's great. I'm glad that they're doing that for you guys. That's awesome. But what do you know from Valley View going in this week? What are the keys to winning it, and how important is getting a W against this team on Friday?
I just their defensive line is big. They're the same like size as me and the O line, but I mean we can run the ball. I think we want to pass the ball more, and that's just what we're gonna have to key on.
Yeah, I think the passing's been getting a little bit better. I do. It's been over 100 yards. You're seeing the consistency there from the beginning to the end. I don't know if a lot of people pay attention to that, but we do see Brayson is actually getting better throwing the ball. The passing game is developing. It takes time, but there is consistency there with that 100+ yards. So I do anticipate that it's going to continue to get better as you guys go. And so Toledo Midway does have a road game, another district road game this Friday. Be going to Valley View, and then they'll finish off the regular season back at home against a good Zapata team. So that's gonna be great. I do want to ask you another question, Alexavier. What makes this line this year so special in your words, you and your brothers, the other offensive line? What makes you guys so special this year?
Just so when it first started off, like first day of practice, we weren't really on the same level. Because Ethan Barrientos came from JV, and he came from being a defensive end. So he knew the defensive side, but he didn't really know the offensive side. And Noah, he came from Oldham back here, and then Gabe was there. It's just the chemistry that we had to build. And since I'm going to be graduated, they're going to have more chemistry coming up from next year, for next year.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this team was when it started, they were coming from different areas. It wasn't the line that played together last year, which takes a lot of time to develop, play, and trust each other. So now I'm starting to understand a little bit about what's going on. I think the offensive line is great. I think that's the one thing outside of other things that we have that to me I pay a lot of attention to, because I think it's key that your health, obviously, those boys got to stay healthy. On offensive line, my son played offensive line, and I didn't realize how much aches and pains they get after every game. I mean, people are falling on you, and they think because you're like 6'1" and 275 pounds, say all that muscle, that you're supposed to be able to get up and be He-Man and not ache. But the linemen take a pounding. My son took a pounding every week, every game. He was hurting. He loved it, but he had a lot of aches and pain. Thank God he didn't have any major injuries. So, Coach, I'll go to you now. So, Coach Gonzales, Mateo Gonzales, is the offensive line coach. So, Coach, kind of introduce yourself to the community. How long have you been at TM? How many years have you been coaching, and specifically there at Toledo Midway?
Yeah. So, I'm Coach Mateo Gonzales. This is the first year I'm working here in TM. I came over from Mathis, spent about 4 years there. I actually worked with our offensive coordinator. I worked over there with him for about 2 years, and he had been asking me the last couple of years to come on and join this ship over here. And I finally pulled the trigger and made the move, and I'm excited that I did. I came out here and saw some stuff in the summer, saw some of these kids working out, saw the size of them and just some of the work ethic. So, and then throughout the season, these kids have been, they've been working hard for me and for themselves and for their teammates, and it's just I've enjoyed it a lot. And I kind of know a little bit about TM. I'm from the Alice area, so I grew up playing football in Alice, so we play TM just about every year. So I know how crazy those games get as well.
Yeah, the communities. Well, I tell you that Alice community, it probably in South Texas doesn't get any better than that community. I mean, you
Yeah,
played out there. It's they love their coyotes out there. I'll tell you
definitely.
that. Coach, so you come in this year. What did you see from this line? They're special,
Yeah.
obviously. Young but special. What makes them special? Talk to us a little bit about these guys, if you can, if you want to go individually as a group. But when I see them, I got really excited. I don't know any of them. I just talked to me on the podcast, but something kind of struck me when I saw them the first day of scrimmage, and I said, "Man, these guys, they're going to be something special." And then I started to find and hear how young they were. I thought most of them were seniors. And I started hearing there were sophomores. A lot of them were coming back, which really excited me. Talk about your line and what makes these guys special.
Yeah, definitely. Coming in, just looking at them and looking at their size and their physical abilities, it's just it was eye opening and it was great to have that. But at the end of the day, we know that that's not going to solve all our issues. So it's just their willingness to listen and to learn, to ask questions, to sit down and watch film, to adjust. Not a lot of kids want to adjust. They all want to kind of they learned it there this way and they want to stick to it and these guys have really adjusted well and they're taking in that coaching that we give them and from myself, Coach Kyle, Coach Talbert, so just with that, these kids are just working hard and they want to get on the right track. They want to make Tuloso Midway a winning football program. They want to be in the playoffs. They want that opportunity to win district and they want to be the best and I think that's what's making them really good right now. Um, we have quite a bit of seniors and but some of these younger kids too stepped up. We've had injuries, we've had some illnesses and it's kind of affected some of the older kids, some of the younger kids, and we've bounced around. But the great thing about it is we got quite a bit of linemen that are able to just be put in there and to go play, and they're not scared of the big situation and it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, I talked to Coach V, and he talks about the depth. He said we've got players, we've got especially the linemen. There are quite a few out there that can step right in, and I think that's what's exciting. If you're a TM Warriors fan, is you're seeing what's coming up. We always talk on the podcast about the future. I mean, obviously, we want to give as much recognition to our seniors
Yeah.
because they won't be here next year. But also with that, you want to also be able to talk about the future and get the community excited, what's on JV, what's coming up. And we definitely have been able to have a few guys that can step in when those injuries do happen to continue. Because I don't think you guys really change much as far as the offensive line, whatever it is that you guys, whatever the play call or the game plan is going to be from one game to the next with those guys. I think I talked to Coach Talbert obviously, and now you're there. I think in talking to the coaches, a lot of good young coaches there that Coach B has. Looks like the staff there's really good, mixed in with a couple of the veteranship. So it looks like it's very well balanced there. Looking forward, Coach, to the next couple of years.
Yeah.
To seeing what this team is going to be able to do. Do you want to get your thoughts on the Cal Allen game? Obviously, it didn't go our way, but you got to. I always hear coaches say, "Look, it's gone, it's over with,
Yeah.
and we got to move on to the next." But I do want to get your thoughts. Like I was telling Alexavier, it seems like we really played good for most of the game. That the one quarter really doomed us in, Coach. I wasn't at the game. What happened in that second quarter? Was it turnovers on our part, or what did you see from that second quarter?
Yeah, I mean, going in, we knew Cal Allen is going to be great. They're always great every year. We told the kids they're going to come in and they're going to be physical, and they're going to want to prove that they're still district champions, and that's what they wanted and we wanted it as well. And that second quarter, we just kind of had a little hiccup here and there. They started moving they started bringing the safety down and playing with 8 guys in the box, and they really wanted to stop our run offense, and shooting linebackers through gaps. And, it makes it a little bit difficult when we have kids that are playing both ways on the offense and defense. Because, when kids come off the field, we want to talk with them and go over what they're seeing, what we're seeing, and trying to make those adjustments. And it made it a little bit difficult. You know, we, that first quarter we had that great drive. And then second quarter, we kind of stumbled a little bit. They went down and scored. We ended up having a punt somewhere in there and they returned that punt, and it was just a couple little mistakes that we made here and there, and they just capitalized on them and made it tough for us. But I mean, it's just part of the game, and we have to learn from that as well too, as coaches and as players, and we got to keep our spirit high and just keep playing ball and hope for the best.
It is, coach, and I think like someone like me who obviously looks at the stats and breaks it down as much as I can because I know we're going to have these podcasts. The score reflects obviously people just look at the score and say, "Wow, this team really didn't play good." But when you really break down, like you said, it's a play here, it's a play there that dooms you in. I think in these games, even like in Alice, we're taking the losses, right? But we're doing a lot of good things. I've always said, even in losses, you can learn a lot. I think you learn more from losses than you do wins, in my opinion. But I think overall, you forget the score. There's a lot of good things. We played good, better in that second quarter, like you're talking about. And this is a whole different game. So
Definitely.
even though we take the loss, I do think we're getting better every year from last year to this year. Offensively, the defense is very young as well. And so every week we continue to get better, which for Toloso Midway, we'll be traveling back over to the Valley. I don't know Valley View very much, Coach, but I do want to get your thoughts on the next two games. Valley View up there and then Zapata back here. What are the keys for you offensively? What do you want to see from your offensive line in these two games that you feel and even from the offense that can get us these two wins? I think it's important to get the two W's getting into the playoffs. You want to go in with a little bit of a chip, I guess, a little bit of a swagger, arrogance, a couple of wins. I think builds confidence in the teams. So, what are the keys for these two games to get the W's before we get into the playoffs?
Yeah, definitely. It's just about building confidence. I feel that's really huge for us. Like you said, we have made some great plays and here and there against other teams, and they were tough ball games to lose, but we got to build off of that. And for me, I think it's just making sure that we establish a run early on, making sure that we can pass protect and take care of our quarterback. Making sure he has time. And Alexavier said it earlier. We might want to throw the ball a little bit and build some confidence with our quarterback and receivers. Pitch and catch. Because if teams like Cal Island start putting 8 in the box, they outnumber us and we can't block everybody anymore. So we got to figure out other ways to get other people the ball. And I think it's just about building confidence and you know Valley View, they're pretty big. They got some good size, but I think our kids are just they want to get back on track and they want to get back to that win column. And I think we're going to be able to do that this week. And then we have a week off where we'll be practicing here and there and getting our kids rested up and healthy again. And then we come right back and start working on Zapata and trying to get a win there as well.
Coach, how are we doing health wise with the linemen? Everybody ready? Everybody still good?
Yeah, we've had some struggles here and there. We had some kids go down early in the season with some illnesses, and then some injuries started to trickle in. And the last couple weeks, I think we've lost about 2 or 3 starters, and then we just got those back this past week. So it's been a kind of a struggle in practice wise. We're trying to go hard and we're trying to practice and make sure that we're physical enough to compete with other teams, but at the same time, we're trying to take care of our kids and make sure that they're healthy and they can play in these games.
Well, Coach, I'm sure Mathis didn't want to lose you, but I'm glad you came over and made a trip here with us here at TM. We're glad to have you here. I know Coach Berrios talked very highly of you on his podcast, so we're definitely glad to have you here and running our offensive line. Coach, I am going to ask you to talk about the player there next to you. For people who don't know Alex Xavier, talk to us a little bit. How special is he? What makes him special outside of the what people see? Because when people see him and he's size, people think, "Wow, this guy's proper. He could just move anybody." But you see the workout, you see the ups and downs, you see the highs that these kids have, and you also see the lows. What can you tell us about him? How special is he, and how special has he been for you to be able to coach him his senior year?
Yeah, definitely. It's been awesome just these last few weeks. Everybody looks at him and they're scared just by his size, but in reality, he's kind of one of the softer kids and just likes to joke around a lot and have fun with it. But once we get out to that field, he's all about business, and he turns on that switch and he's ready to play. And it's awesome to have a kid that can do that. He doesn't take anything to heart. He works really hard. He asks a ton of questions. He's coachable. He fixes up everything, and he wants to be great. And that's the good thing about it. When you have kids that just do it, just just so they can get out of the house or whatever the need is. Alexavier's a little bit different. He wants to be special, so it's great having him on my side.
Absolutely. Well, Alex, your dad's probably going to kill me, but when I first met your dad, I was like, oh man, you know how big your dad is. But you're right. He's just like his dad. He's a big teddy bear, really nice guy. But when you first see him, you're just kind of like, oh my goodness, you don't want to make that guy mad. So he's probably going to get mad that I said that, but that's the truth. That's exactly what my first impression of your father when I first saw him. But you're right. He's just a really nice guy, big teddy bear, man. Will help you out anytime you need it. So, Alexavier, what's it been like for you to play both on the offense and defensive side? I think you go both ways at times. What's that been like for you? Because you got to be conditioned. I mean, offensively, it's one thing, right? When you're blocking, but defensive, they're coming at you. They're trying to hit you low. They're shooting you high. So, what's it been like for you to have to try to play both sides of the ball?
This is my first year playing on both sides of the ball, and it was at first I had to get conditioned because
We just needed extra water on that sideline
yeah,
for him.
extra water, actually like a whole cow thing. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I was I wasn't conditioned, and then when I kept on playing games, practice, I got conditioned, and it was pretty rough at first, but then now it's just okay. Let's go. Let's go. One play at a time, as he says. One play
Yeah.
at a time. Just and don't go in your head. Just focus on the guy in front of you.
Yeah, obviously it is tough, and especially if this was the first year when the coach is asking you to go both ways. It does take time to get conditioned, and it is a lot for people that don't know, especially on that D and offensive line, right? Because you're getting hit every play, whether you're in the tackle or not. They're coming after you both ways, and so I'm glad you're healthy. I'm glad you're back on the field, and I'm glad we have you there ready to go this week. I do want to ask you, what's it been like for you to be coached? Ask you to say a couple of words there from your offensive line coach. First year here, what was it like for you to know that Coach Gonzales was going to be coming in and being your coach at the beginning? And what's that relationship been like as you've gone through the football season?
So when I first met him, I was like another coach. Like, why can't coaches stay? But I was just like, okay, let's do this. Let me be coachable. And so, he was like, no, you have to do it like this, one hand, and we still have, here and there ups and downs about our blocking and stuff. But as a coach, he's a very, very like he tell you like what's up. He doesn't like fake it. He doesn't say no, like it's okay. No, he tells you so you can fix it and be a better person for your team. As you have to have trust in your running back, your quarterback. You have to have trust again with your whole line. It's just you're gonna have to be coachable and you have to take it. And that's
Awesome.
what he taught me.
Awesome. And other coaches that have come on that we talk highly of you, Coach Gonzales. Not because I have you here on the podcast, but other coaches, they wanted you there. They want you there for a reason, man. If coaches are out there going, hey, I want this coach here. It says a lot about what they think of your coaching ability, and it says a lot about the work that you put in. Obviously, you're hearing your player. They're talking about you don't sugarcoat anything. This is the way it is, and I think that's how players are going to get better. I actually like it, Alexavier, because I think coach players want to be coached. A lot of times they don't want the hardships that coaches bring, but I think a lot of players in any sport they want to be coached. They want to be coached. They want to be the best they can be, right? And sometimes coaches, they've got they can love on you when that time happens, but they also got to be hard. And when you're not doing something right, they're going to jump on you. And I think those are the best coaches, and obviously Coach Gonzales is one of them, and we're glad to have him there at Toloso Midway, Coach. And I hope you stick around there with us for quite some time. We definitely love to have you around to see what this offensive line can be in the next 2 to 3 years. So, all right, well, guys, thank you very much. I don't want to keep you here longer. I know you guys got a lot to do. Alexavier, I'm definitely looking forward to watching you play some soccer, man. Next tomorrow, actually, I'm going to be going down to Cal Allen. I'm going to go watch Coach Chapa and the girls down there. I'm not going to record it. I'm just going to go down there and just enjoy the game. I think it's going to be a good one. But I'm definitely looking forward to soccer. I love soccer. I played it when I was young, and I'm definitely looking forward to going out there watching you play. So tell me real quick, what's the season going to look like for our soccer boys? Is this something, are we going to be good? Are we going to be competitive?
Gotta have confidence, man.
I mean, I don't really focus on soccer right now.
Yeah, that's a
There you
good
go. There you go. That's a good
answer.
question. There you go. We're in football season, so we'll talk about soccer when soccer comes. Coach, thank you very much for coming on. Alexavier, I'll give you the
Yes,
final
sir.
thoughts, man. Anything you want to add before we let you go?
Uh, TM is great. What's up, Dad? And thank you for having me on this podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on, and good luck this week and safe travels up there and back. It is quite a drive, and for the TM Warrior fans, Jersey fans, if you can't make it out there, I think they have the Warrior Nation live. You can definitely tune in and support the Warriors through that. But definitely those that can make it. Coach, I want to ask you. So, are y'all going to be early dismissal again like last time, or
So this Friday, I believe the kids are off the whole day. We'll
okay?
have training in the morning for all the teachers of the district, and then we'll get back together maybe around 11 o'clock or so with the kids, and then get ready to leave. We'll be leaving around 1:15 or so, more or less.
Sounds good, Alexander. I do got one more question. So, what's that meal? Y'all stop off in Kingsville, I'm being told. Is the food any good there?
Oh yeah, it's great.
It's good. Absolutely, man. That makes the trip just a little bit better, right? Being able to stop there and get a good meal before. So I'm glad you like it. I heard it's a pretty good place there in Kingsville. Coach, I'd like to get your final thoughts. Thank you for coming on once again. Safe travels and good luck, Coach, up
Yes,
there and
sir.
back. Hopefully we come back with the W. But anything you want to add before we let you go?
No, I'm just glad to be here, part of Tolosa Midway, and just want to let the fans know to just keep supporting and be on our side. Our kids are fighting hard just to try to make all you guys proud, and just stay supportive of them, and just pray for us that we keep winning.
Absolutely, coach. Definitely got a fan here. I live out in Rockport, so I'm on this side of the bridge, but definitely. And now I got the gear, so Commander gave me a cap, and now I wear the maroon, and so I feel like a TM guy now. But I definitely am excited about what we've done this year, getting to meet Coach Buriel and talking to him on a weekly basis. I think he's a great coach. Doing some great things as an AD out there, really cares about his coaches and his players. So I think we're on the right track. I think we're going to continue to win more games this year and in the future. So again, TM Warrior fans, thank you for tuning in. You can continue to watch this. We're live next Monday. Coach Viria will have possibly another coach or two players on the TM Warriors Players Podcast. So definitely tune in 4:30 live. But if not, you can catch it on the Great Iron 64 Sports Network, Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. So if you don't have social media, you can definitely check it out, like and share the podcast with others as well. Coach Alexavier, thank you very much.
Yes,
Good
sir.
luck on Friday, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.